Welcome to Pitch in the Zone, a weekly gathering of coaches that come together once a week to help a presenter with a 3-minute pitch. Our coaches include Nathan Gold, hailing from San Francisco. He helps people with their real high stakes presentations. He's been doing this very successfully for the last 12 years. We also have Scotty Spursum. Scotty is also hailing from San Francisco. Her focus is on language, accent reduction, and she has a strong background in the financial industry. We have Michael Marchak, usually joining us from Chicago. Today he's in Florida. He's an author, a speaker, and a CTO that has an unbelievable knack to see the big picture, as well as many of the small details that can be improved with these pitches. We have all the way from Thailand, Marco Vetale, another person with a tremendous eye for detail. He's an entrepreneur, and no matter if you are missing a comma on your slide or the colors are slightly off, Marco will catch it. He also doubles as our timer. He will display a timer on the screen for our presenter. He counts down from 3 minutes to 0. Once it reaches 0, it turns red and starts to count up. And then we also have Rick on our line. Rick is a presentation skills trainer with a lot of experience helping presenters, communicators in general, to doing a better job. Rick, always great to see you in our meetings. And then, of course, the highlight is our presenter today. Our presenter is David Keller with a product and a company called Saber. David, welcome to Pitch in the Zone.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
It's wonderful to have you. Tell us very briefly before we get into the pitch, who is the target audience for your presentation?
The target audience is angel investors, early investors in a new product.
All right, David, with that in mind, please, if you want to share your screen, now is the time to do it. While I ask all of the coaches on the call, put on your investor hats. And with that, David, the floor is yours.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that kind introduction. And thank you everybody for being here this morning. Morning my time, evening in Thailand. Today we're going to be talking about bicycle safety. And to further introduce myself, I am David Keller, CEO of Saber. And we're going to be talking about reinventing bicycle safety with a brand new patent pending product. It's very dangerous out there. Over 1,000 people die in bicycle collisions every year. Over 400,000 people are injured. And of the 100 million people in the United States who own a bicycle, 54%, 54 million of them will not get on their bike for fear of being hit by a car or a truck. I'm one of them. The current approach is the small little bicycle light. You can see a group of people riding in the evening and you can barely see their bicycle lights. A better solution is the new patent pending product with a group of legal experts assisting us. We expect to have our patent by August. Is Saber. Look at that light. It's huge. It stands out. That's what Saber does. It calls to the attention of the driver that there's a bicyclist here and you've got to be careful. By law, you're supposed to give that bicycle rider 3 feet. Many don't. This particular product is 18 inches wide, so it reaches out into that 3 feet of real estate that is owed, legally owed to the bicycle rider. And you can notice that it's a flexible light. It goes left, center, right. It has a front light. It has side lights. This product is for not only just the bicyclists, but it's also for these drivers of vehicles. They too need help in driving safely. No driver wants to kill a bicycle rider. No driver wants to permanently injure or maim or paralyze a bicycle rider. So this is actually a device that helps both parties. You can see how bright this light is. You can see compared to other riders, how bright this light is, how much attention it will get if you're a driver coming up behind this group. We actually have two products. One is the Safety Saber, the one that you're seeing on the screen, and we have Safety Saber Pro, which has built-in collision avoidance system, Bluetooth, and artificial intelligence, which I can tell you about in greater detail later, but primarily you should know that it literally warns the cyclist of an approaching vehicle, telling the cyclist now is not the time to take a drink of your water. Be careful, be on high alert. It's a booming market. The pandemic exploded the marketplace. You can see how leisure bikes grew 126%. And if you look at the bottom, the global market for cycles is 56 billion, 7 billion in the US alone, with 17 million new bikes being sold every year. Our go-to-market strategy is very simple. We're going to license our product to one of the large global distributors. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. The suggested retail price, of course, is $39 for our basic Safety Saber and $89 for the Pro. Ask yourself, how many people of that, what percentage of the 46 million bicycle riders out there will want to add a Safety Saber? How many of those 54 million people like me who's afraid to ride, I will ride with a Safety Saber, but not without? How many of these different groups will actually want to own a Safety Saber? The founder is my brother. He's an avid cyclist. He's kind of like one of these Tour de France guys. He's a rugby player. And he wanted to invent this product to make riding safer for himself. I'm an inventor. I invented a product for Xerox that increased their sales by $98 million. Here's our launch timing. We've already have the prototype. And then by next year, we expect to be in the market with funding. What we're looking for is $240,000 to launch the product, to get to the next stage of manufacturing, legal, and to put together a very robust marketing program along with the licensing. I want to thank you for your time this morning. This is the Safety Saber. And I would like you to ask yourself this question. The next time you're riding your car, ask yourself, when you get behind someone riding a bicycle, would they be safer with the Safety Saber? Thank you for your time.
Very, very well done. Thank you, David. You went way over time though. I love your clothes. David and we met very briefly yesterday. And if you can stop sharing the screen, David, that would be awesome.
I couldn't see the clock. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
No problem.
I couldn't see any timer. I think that might be an issue with the advanced presentation also.
Yeah, yeah. Can you stop sharing the screen, please?
Working on that now without stop share. There we go.
Okay.
Thank you, Claudia. Sorry.
There. Thank you.
And I'm sorry I couldn't see the timer. I apologize for that.
Yeah, Marco, what was the final time?
It was 2:39 over the limit, so 5:39. So.
Yeah, so almost 6 minutes. Yeah. And
wow,
again, I loved your clothes, and I think in the very beginning you had a little bit of startup issues to get going, to get the energy going. About 1/3 in, it started to really pick up. I think you spent a lot of time on the problem in itself, and if you can cut any time, it's probably from that area. But enough from me. Let's open up the floor. Michael always puts great comments into the chat box as well, David. So I'm often picking Michael as the first person to elaborate on some of the comments. Michael, please, what kind of feedback and how can you elaborate to those comments you made in the chat?
So you had some really good imagery to start with, which I really appreciated. It really hit home on the reasoning why you were doing this. I thought that was good. Very slow start though. I didn't see much energy in your presentation from that perspective. You were very calm and collected throughout the whole presentation, which was good. But I didn't see even the energy of why you're doing this being an excitement. So I wasn't really getting excited. I understood it. It was very calculated in terms of how you presented it. As you look in the comments there, you might consider either altered funding mechanisms to go down that path, Kickstarter, et cetera. And then questions about your product itself from a design perspective, it's for adults or children, was not necessarily addressed. But I wasn't really sure. I didn't really connect why you had the legal team listed there for your product. I mean, it's important that we have all the I's dotted and T's crossed and everything. I get that. But for initial presentation, I didn't see how they were connected with the product safety or the pitch you were giving, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you for that feedback.
Thank you, Michael. And moving right along, Marco. Marco, what kind of observations have you made?
Yes, of course, I do love the concept of trying to save as many people as possible, both from the cyclist point of view and from the car driver, because it's dangerous for both. Having said that, yeah, as Claudio said, it took you 50 seconds to start saying that 1,000 people die, and you started with, we're going to talk about, again, just do it. Don't say what you're going to do, just do it. And then it took you 1.5 minutes to finally see your product. Half the time of your presentation before we knew what it was about. So of course, try to shorten it up. Then as Michael said, it was not clear if it was for children too or not. If it is, instead of taking you as an example, maybe it always makes a bigger impact to say something like, you know, how much would you pay to increase the safety of your child, or what would you do to increase your safety of your child while bicycling or something? Then another point here, when you show the picture with and without your light, to me, they looked like two different pictures. So it would be nice if you can take the same thing with and without, so to really show the difference between them. And talking about the investor part, you all, when you were describing the price, yeah, fine, but of course it's different if you're making 90% profit or 5%. So that would be nice to know how much you're making out of every sale from an investor point of view. But yeah, I really hope you can market and sell the product, because it's always great to increase safety for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for those
Thanks, Marco. And moving right along, Scotty, what kind of feedback do you have for our presenter today?
It was very interesting, and I just recently rented a pedal assist bike, which was really scary, and I might have appreciated having something behind me. So I appreciate the product. Echoing others, yeah, energy is a big thing, especially in the beginning. It was kind of slow, so you're trying to make sure people are interested and excited to hear what you have to say. I didn't know if you had a personal story to tell, like whether you were in a bike accident or not. I have a friend who was mushed by a car. So if there's some other hook around it, and maybe learning more about your brother, it came up very quickly at the end that he's I don't know, he's a professional cyclist perhaps, or maybe he's an athlete, I'm not sure. But if whatever the other biking connection is early on would be helpful. Have you tested it? Is it in stores? I mean, I'd like to know a little bit more about that. Is it being sold? That wasn't clear. If I were going to give you some money, like, where are you in the process, right? It's patent pending, but what else? Right. and also getting to the pictures, I would do what Marco was suggesting is you've got to have a brighter photo of the product. It was so dark, all I could see was the light. So I couldn't really get a feel for where it was in relationship to the bicycle and whether I could just put it in the middle of the back of my bike for daytime riding even, or, you know, does it blink, that kind of thing. And I think hearing more about you being an inventor early on and your background would make more good things go off in my brain. It's like, oh, this person's done this before. He knows the process for getting a product patented, sold, rolled out. So I think somehow weaving that in earlier, and with a personal story. I mean, that can be your humble brag, as you'll probably hear that phrase in a little bit, but also your personal story of like why, beyond why were you an avid biker, you know, that kind of thing. It'd be interesting if there's another hook there.
Thank you. Thank you. That's great feedback. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scotty. And moving right along, Rick Pollack. Rick, what kind of observations have you made for our presenter today?
David, I agree with most of the other comments, especially on the energy at the beginning. I think you could just start with saying a lot of people are afraid of riding their bikes because of crashes. You said, I'm one of them, but I think you can expand that and ask, how about you? Are you afraid to ride the bike? Do you have that? That brings the audience in. So it's not your story, it's their story. They become, oh yeah, my wife's afraid to ride her bike. So I think you can bring
and their
that
kids.
in.
Rick, throw it and add their kids too, because that's
Right.
every parent's nightmare, right?
Right. Yeah, no, so I think that's something that brings them in instead of just saying that you're one of them, which is good. It shows a personal experience, but also that's bringing them in, letting them think of, oh yeah, hey, I could really use this, or I want this on my kid's bike. One thing that you showed the legal team before you showed the product, which I said, well, you know, this it's nice you have a legal team, but in a 3-minute pitch, I don't think that should be before you talk about the product. I like when you said it benefited the driver and the cyclist. Again, it's not just because a lot of people think, oh yeah, here's a self-righteous cyclist in the Lycra outfit who, a lot of people don't like cyclists like that. So I think it's benefiting the driver. No one wants to do that. And then I think, you know, talking about your brother, I think as Scotty said, a little bit more why this product was invented. And one thing that I know of some bike riders who use the little plastic pool noodles that they put on the side of their bike, extending out around 18 inches so people will see that. But it made me think of what about during the day? I think Michael mentioned this and Scotty mentioned this, but I think you want to talk about this is safety. A lot of people don't ride at night, but they need that safety during the day. So if you can tie that in, that, hey, this is visible during the day, as well as the questions about, you know, showing it maybe in the daytime, at the night, and then compare it to the little flashing light in the back of the bike. But I think, you know, showing your credentials, you know, you showed the credibility, more enthusiasm, making it their story as well. It'll make it a lot better.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Awesome
much. Great
feedback. So valuable. Thank you very much, Rick. And moving right along, we have still Hi, Scott and Dave. And I'm going to save Nathan for last today because Nathan has worked together with Dave before. So let's get all the other feedback out of the way first. Hi, what kind of feedback do you have for our presenter?
Well, feeding off from the experts, from my opinion is that I maybe instead of showing the two negative accident picture, since you talk about it, maybe just show the positive picture, you know, instead of spin it on a positive way, instead of showing the negative picture. I think it's probably better. And a lot of these, your product just remind, because I watched Shark Tank a lot. So, you know, and a lot of those people, they jump up and down, you know, and they wear, you know, maybe an outfit, you know, the bicycle outfit, you know, or something like that. It helped. That's my 2 cents.
Good stuff. Really, really good stuff. And I think you hit a very, very important point there. And that is the tension of emotions, the going back and forth between the negative and the positive, between the what is and what could be. how would you feel? How great would you feel? So toggling back and forth, absolutely wonderful feedback there. I thank you. Moving on to Scott. Scott was our presenter last week at Pitch in the Zone. And what kind of feedback do you have? I love your background here today. Wonderful.
Oh yeah, it was my trips up to the Garden of the Gods yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
So David, I would look at more some technical, this was mentioned, but the technical aspects of the light as far as, you know, as bikers and also people that are, you know, looking at this product is how far away people can see it. You know, some lights I know are seen from quite a distance, so you have time to react. And also where other locations on the bike you can put it. Some people have different style bikes and how that would work. So more time on the technical aspects of the product.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you.
I love all these diverse ideas and the things that we see. This is really the purpose behind Pitch in the Zone, to get as much feedback, you know, a real 360 view of your presentation. Dave Alberti, you have been always providing great feedback to our presenters as well in the past. Please take it from here.
Just thanks. I appreciate being here. As putting my investor hat on, even though it's only a 3-minute pitch, which is 180 seconds, it's like maybe 180 words you can say or something. So, but I think some of the words that I might be listening for as an investor would be, are you looking for money? You alluded to that, but you might suggest kind of how much money, when you want it, and what you're going to do with it. Investors always ask me that stuff. Yeah, I really like Hai's suggestion about spinning the anti-negative as the positive that it is. That's good stuff. And then just from I'm really always interested in the technical stuff, and I think a lot of people are really interested in the technical aspect of yours. You know, suggesting the get together later to talk turkey about the technical stuff for you might be a really important, good way to get further conversations going. Yeah. It is for me sometimes. Not very many people want to go there, but the ones that do are really excited about the product. Yeah. And so they might become investors, you know, they really care and they really are interested in the tech. Is it flexible? Is it, you know, I mean, they'll be, all these questions will be running through their mind. And yes, we put that off so they would pay attention. Good job on that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Great comments. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Dave. And we are getting to our last person's feedback. Nathan, please, what kind of feedback? And you've seen probably great improvement already in Dave's approach. What can he do even better?
I think if you asked his brother what David was presenting about 4 weeks ago compared to what he's presenting right now, it would be like he's got a new brother. So we've been iterating on this for, I guess, David, now what, 3 to 4 weeks now. Once, twice a week, we get together, we go through it a little bit more and a little bit more. And what David's experiencing in the startup world is taking the ideas and the products you have in your head and turning them into a narrative and a story that people will gravitate towards and want to know more about and want to be a part of. So I'm not going to repeat anything anybody else said. Thank you, everybody, for the distinctions that you brought to the table here. Personally, my biggest takeaway from all of this, David, is, and everybody, is that we need to get rid of negative opening. Forget about accidents and showing dead people on the road, because everybody knows what that looks like. Okay. And flipping it around, like Hai said, and you might just mention your stats of fear and whatnot, but then go immediately to, here's what it could look like, as Claudia was saying, when you're on the road and the biker, you know, they have blah, blah. And I think we need to rework that opening for sure. And the other thing I took away from listening to everybody's comments is we need to make this for everyone who knows people who bike. All your family members, all the people that you know that spend time on a bike, whether it's somebody you work with, whether it's you, anybody, get people thinking about the world of bikers, because we all know bikers. I have bikers in my family. I'm not really one, but I know some who are, which makes me immediately think, oh, I want to buy one of these things for each of those people. Okay. So nobody, Michael mentioned it first in the chat window. I think we all in general like that close that you did. It was good to think about the future, although you didn't need to necessarily say, this is the Saber, like, you know, the safety Saber. That little part of it you could chuck, but that was excellent. And then Rick's point about night and day, we need to make sure people understand that this is a nighttime and a daytime product.
Yes,
When it becomes a
yes.
daytime product, then it becomes a must-have, not a nice-to-have during the day. And then the last thing is I've been trying to get David to make sure that it's not just the biker, that the people listening are not just, it's not just the biker's responsibility to be safe, it's the driver's responsibility as well. And his product makes it easier for both to be safer. I want that to come together a little bit cleaner.
Nice.
Other than that, David, you ran so far over, and I was like chuckling here thinking, oh, geez, oh, God. Now, I'm so glad that happened today, because now you know what it feels like to run over, even though you couldn't see the clock. I think in your heart, you knew, okay, this is going a little bit long. And everybody's already talked about the opening. We can shrink that way, way down. And with a more positive opening now, maybe you can get to your product in the first 15, 20 seconds instead of 1 minute 30, which Marco said, and we all agree, is way too much on the problem in any kind of a pitch. So really well done. And thank you so much for coming here today. And I hope that all of the feedback that you've gotten from all of us will now help you not just, you know, get a little better, but now we can amplify it even more. And maybe within a few short weeks, you'll be ready to start talking to investors very confidently with a narrative that just rolls off your tongue.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. Oh my gosh, this has been so valuable. I can't tell you how
No, go right ahead if you
nourishing
want.
it
We're
is.
listening.
Okay. It's so nourishing. I can't tell you how nourishing it is, because you know, when you're working on this, you're kind of all alone to a degree. And what really is important is getting the kind of feedback that you just gave me today, because now I've expanded my awareness of what's going on galactically. I mean, I will take all of these, I will watch this video over and over again and listen to your comments and factor all of them in to the future conversations. And so I'm very, very, very touched by the quality of the input that you gave me and the type of an experience and knowledge and wisdom that you've imparted to me. It will go forward from you into my presentation and out to future audiences. And I want to thank you very much for that.
Thank you for these extremely kind words, Dave. David, you have no idea how much that actually means to all of us, because this is exactly why we are doing this every single week, to help other people simply get to a new level. And you are on a journey, a new journey for you in the investor world that has so many components and so many, you know, it's new territory. And to get out at the end of it as the hero of this journey, you know, you can definitely tap into all of the help from mentors, guides, helpers in any shape or form. And that's why I would like to invite you to come back, because you are going to continue some more coaching sessions with Nathan. You have now all the feedback from today, and I would love to see what you're going to do with this over the next 2 or 3 weeks. So please, David, come back and show us how you have improved this pitch even more. And one condition, you gotta be closer to the 3 minutes then.
I promise. I'll have
All
3 or 4 clocks all around me. And thank you for that invitation. That means a lot to me, that you'll give me another opportunity to demonstrate that I've taken your words to heart and I've made the changes, and I will be under 3 minutes. I guarantee you that.
Right on. That's the goal. All right. And with that, I want to thank you, David, of course, for stepping into the pitch zone, and all of the coaches that help every single week with so much valuable feedback. We are looking at the details. We are looking at bigger pictures. And as we just heard from David, our work here, it's just 30 minutes every week, but it is definitely appreciated. So thank you, everybody. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. In the meantime, enjoy a lovely time. See you next Thursday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.